Guess who's back? It's me and Sarah. If you couldn't guess, the beautiful, luxurious Sarah behind the camera. Me in the front. We haven't done one of these in a while. Whew. Thought I'd just do something super fun. You're always looking for another idea. You run out of the same old things, get tired of them, whatever. So this is a pineapple fried rice. Now, the cool thing about this is, unlike regular fried rice, fried rice is what I always want to say for some reason. That's more savory. This has a sweet element to it. So I'll go through what we've got here. It seems like a lot. Most of the stuff you should have on hand already. Garlic. You can do garlic cloves. We just buy the paste anymore. It's so simple, easy to use. A little sesame oil. This is not a necessity because you're going to use some butter in here too. It does add a little bit of flavor. Chili garlic. You should have this in your house 365 days a year. This stuff goes in everything. Dips, dishes, spice, eggs. Chili garlic is awesome. Lime juice, soy sauce, cilantro, carrots. This is just a bell pepper. Probably should have gotten a different color so it didn't match the carrots, but that's just a chopped up bell pepper. Green onions, jalapenos, a pineapple. You can use it out of the can too. Then we have an onion and some apple Gouda sausage. Now, most times that I've made this in the past, which has been a long time, so this is kind of going back, I didn't use meat. But I had these apple Gouda sausages and they're a little bit of a sweet element, so they should go perfectly in this. Last but not least, you have to have old rice. Now, by old rice, I don't mean 2 weeks ago old. I mean, you make it yesterday. I've actually left it on the stove in the pan after it was made, but this has been in the refrigerator. And you kind of just want to break this up. You can now buy the rice that's pre-cooked in the bags. That'd probably be good for this too. I haven't tried it, but you have to have old rice because it has to have soaked up all the moisture. If you make rice and you fry it, it turns into the mushiest mess ever. So I've got the wok over here, and you can see the smoke coming off of it, so you know it's hot. I'm just going to add a little sesame oil. Then we're going to do this all in one pot. That's the other nice thing. I'm going to go ahead and throw in the carrots and both the bell pepper and the jalapeno. You can leave out the jalapeno if you don't want it to be kind of spicy. I'm saving the green onions. And then I have the other onion here and the sausage. Now, I do all the slicing ahead of time. Boringest thing ever in a cooking video. Sit there watching somebody cut up 900 things when you know how to cut them up. But I will show you. I did save one on these sausages lengthwise. And then just kind of cut it into some nice little pieces. You don't want those big pieces. Sometimes you go to the Chinese restaurant, they have the big pieces of the pepper and the onion. Not really a fan of that. Move this green onion out of the way here where you can see it. And then on the onion, I'm kind of just going to do the same thing. Now, always rotate your onions. After you've cut some on it, rotate that over and then just start on the other side of it. So that way you end up with these pieces that don't want to roll over and cut your hand off, or your finger off, I should say. So just rough chop on all that. So I'm going to go ahead. I wasn't going to add the green onions yet, but since I mixed everything together, I'm going to. So I'm just going to throw those in there. Now, the other thing I did not talk about, let me throw these in there too. These are the ones I did ahead of time. And I will give this a little toss. As soon as I find something to give that a little toss with. Just so some of that oil gets on it. Again, we're going to add some butter. What's cool is if you choke out on the jalapeno and you sling half the stuff out of your pan onto the floor, that's when it's really cool. So I do have a couple of eggs. I don't know if I said eggs, but I do have a couple of eggs. So I'm going to lightly just beat these eggs up. And you'll see a lot of fried rice recipes, fried rice recipes, where they tell you to do this in stages. Cook the egg, take it out. Cook the vegetables, take it out. Come on, we're all adults here. So, my vegetables cook there for just a minute. they're kind of coming along. I'm going to give those one more minute, then I'm going to throw my rice in it. The eggs, I'll show you here in just a few minutes. You know what? I'm throwing the rice in. Heck with it. Because it's all going to come together really quickly. So I throw the rice in there. I'm not even messing around anymore. I have some butter. I'm going to throw in a nice chunk of butter in there on that. Now, be careful with salting a lot of this. So, you have soy sauce. The sausages have salt in them. There's just a lot of salt kind of going around with this whole thing. Be careful salting this ahead of time. Kind of you want to almost taste it and just see. So, I have the cilantro here. Some people pull these leaves off, blah, blah, blah. This is kind of more of a garnish, but it is going to add some flavor. So just go through here. Get this down to about where it's mostly stems. Chuck the rest of that. That's all you need. It's a Monday. You don't want to come home and kill yourself cooking, but you still want to make a delicious, exceptional, phenomenal meal for you and the family. So, I've got all my vegetables and my rice here. I'm just going to toss this together. When I'm making fried rice, I like that rice to get a little color on it. It's kind of got a little color anyway because of the vegetables in it. But break up any large pieces. Turn that up pretty high because you want this to go pretty quick. So what we've got here is a nice little pineapple. Now, Sarah got this one today. This is a pink, I think they call them.
Something
pink or something. It's not a regular pineapple. But anyway, it is a pineapple. When you're doing pineapple, you can do this different ways. You can go all the way around the outside, which is about the easiest way to do it. But anyway, you want to kind of start cutting the bottom off of it. And this is a very ripe pineapple. Usually you can smell them. Easiest way I've ever found to tell a pineapple is just to smell it. Now, I absolutely love this cleaver. You saw me cutting up the vegetables and the meat. Cleaver is not the ideal thing to be cutting this up with. You want a thinner bladed knife that's easier to use around this pineapple. So come in here and just come around the edge and cut these off like so. Now these can be used, if you have a tough piece of meat, you can actually blend these up, put a tough piece of meat in these blended up pineapple peels and it will tenderize that straight away. Don't leave it in there too long because it will turn into mush. But anyway, that's all falling right in my cilantro, but hopefully you're seeing this. I'm not going to have any cilantro left by the time I'm done with this. So when you get it around here like so, now these smaller ones we're going to have to get out of here because they are pretty tough. So you see these little eyes? These have to kind of come out eventually, either here or there, because they are pretty tough. Now, once you got all that out of the way and you've gotten rid of all the cilantro that you chopped up for later on, come in here like this and cut this pineapple straight down. So I have, oh, golly, I thought I was going to drop both and didn't drop either one. So now I've got the pineapple. There are a couple of these little eyes here. Now, just like wine, never cook with anything that you, gosh dang it, like a vacuum cleaner for all my cilantro. Never cook with anything that you haven't tasted, so I'm going to give one to the beautiful Sarah. That's delicious. So I cut that. All right, so I got my pineapple chopped up. So Sarah's going to bring that camera over here. I'm going to show you what we got going on in our pan after I sling out some more stuff. Kind of hard to hear a lot of times, I've known in our past videos when we're doing this, but you see all this vegetables and all this coming together. I was kind of talking about seasoning earlier. Notice I haven't added anything to this yet because any remaining moisture in any of this I want to cook out before I start adding sauces and stuff to it. So I like this rice to get a little color. You notice some of these sausages have a little color. You can see it on the side of the pan there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chili garlic. Well, I'm going to take the regular garlic. And I'm going to take my trusty knife because I don't have a fork here. And I've got, this would be the equivalent of about 2 cloves. This would be the equivalent of about 1. So you'd have about 3 cloves.
I'd say more like 4 or 5.
That might be 4 or 5, who knows. I kind of always go a little bit overboard with that. So you want to mix that in. Don't put your garlic in at first, because if you do, you're never going to taste it. Because literally the flavor is going to cook out of it. Now I know this needs more butter. So let me grab a little bit here. I can tell already, once it starts getting too dry, you know you need some more butter. So, there's a couple of tablespoons of butter.
Okay.
And there's a reason for that. You're going to see here in just a minute. Boy, those jalapenos will get you. All right, so I make a pool in the middle. Can you see that good, babe? Got my butter in there. Then I get my egg. There was the fork that I needed for the garlic. So I get that good and buttered up, then I move that butter out of the way. Come in there with my egg. Now again, you could have cooked this egg ahead of time, had you have wanted to. But put it in there, let it sit for just a second while that's going on. Move your butter around a little bit. Don't start moving your egg around yet because it doesn't have a chance to cook. And so it all just mixes in kind of with your rice. But once you start to see it setting a little bit, kind of pull it to the middle. Always pull it to the middle. You can see it starting to settle on the edges especially. We'll give it another minute. It'll usually bubble. You see those bubbles. I was getting ready to say it'll usually bubble. So you start to see the bubbles in it coming up through it. That tells you that it's setting good. Now this is kind of a one-pot meal. This will be all we'll have tonight. Now if you wanted to make some bread or something like that, you certainly could. Now again, I'm not adding my seasonings just yet because I want all this done and I want it all incorporated first. So my egg is setting on the bottom. There you go, it's almost cooked. So now, while that's finishing up, if I can get that to sit there, I'm gonna bring over my seasonings. Lid back on my garlic, and I'm gonna get my pineapple. So, make sure my egg's good and set. Yep. So there we go. Here's our egg good and set up. So now we incorporate that all together. You kind of want to get this all incorporated before you add the pineapple because the pineapple will kind of break up on you if you're not careful. It does a great job of holding up until you start to mess with it a lot. Okay, so we got all the egg incorporated. We come back in here with our pineapple. Will you get me a plate? So we got our pineapple in here. This is a really cool recipe for when you just want something different. Do this at home a little. We're not trying to thoroughly cook the pineapple. We're kind of just heating it all up together. All right, so the pineapple's in and the jalapenos are still getting me. I come back with a little lime juice. That's going to be a couple of teaspoons. And I come back with the chili garlic. I like mine a little spicy. That's going to be 1.5 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons. You could use less if you don't want it to have kick because it's already got jalapeno. And then for the soy sauce, that's going to be about 1/4 cup. We're going to taste this in a minute. We're going to see where we're at with everything. But you added your spices. So get this all incorporated up together. Will you grab us a fork? We're going to try this in just a minute. Now this is coming together super fast because we hadn't cooked anything other than the rice yesterday prior to this. So get all that incorporated. Let me give this a wee little run here just for seasoning. Oh, hot. Does need a little more soy. I'm going to give her a little more chili garlic. So another teaspoon. I'm going to give her a little more splash of lime juice. If you have a fresh lime, that's even better. All right, so here we go. We've got it all done up. You can see the color on our meat and stuff in there. All right, babe, if you want to take that camera back over there. So we got her all done up. Everything's nice and hot. turn my stove off. You see how quick this came together. So I've got some cashews here as well. I don't know if I talked about those yet or not, but I got some cashew nuts. So, put that over there. I come back with my trusty cilantro. And I give that a little toss over the top. A DOS. I said a DOS. It's like a dice and a toss. So I have some cashews. These are unsalted cashews. Again, you got to watch it because you just added a whole bunch of soy sauce to it. Give these just a rough little chop, like so. You just don't want them to be whole cashews. If you've got one of those little fancy nut grinder things, you can use that. If not, you can use your big old cleaver, because that works great too. And all this is doing is adding a little tiny bit of flavor, but mostly texture. So I take my cashews, give that a little sprinkle. Then I got all that. That's gonna stay there. I got my fork. And remember, this is hot. This is always the part where everybody's like, man, that taste test that didn't go so good. Well, yeah, because it's 10,000 degrees. Get me a little sausage on there. Now give Sarah a little bite. And that is pineapple fried rice. If you think that's worth a dang, I shouldn't say bad words. Hold your thumb up in front of that, honey. Add to the men. Pineapple fried rice. Try that one night this week.
That was really good.
Till next time.